What if I told you that successful people choose their life partners the same way they choose their business partners? What if the reason you keep ending up in relationships that drain your energy, waste your time, and make you question your judgment is because you're approaching dating like a romantic comedy instead of a strategic investment? Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to admit. Love is not enough. Chemistry is not enough. Good intentions are not enough. Long-term partnerships require the same thinking successful businesses rely on: clear objectives, thorough evaluation, defined expectations, and the courage to walk away when the numbers don't add up. And once you understand this, you'll realize why treating partner selection like a business decision will save you years of heartbreak and help you find someone who actually adds value to your life instead of complicating it. This is what happens when you choose a partner the way successful people choose a business partner. In business, you don't hire someone without knowing exactly what role they need to fill and what qualifications they must have. But in dating, most people just hope someone wonderful magically appears and everything somehow works out. This is insane. You're choosing someone you may share decades with, someone you trust with your money, your home, your children, and your peace. But you're doing it based on butterflies instead of concrete compatibility. Here's what a real relationship job description actually looks like. Someone who shares your core values about money, family, career, and lifestyle. Someone whose communication style matches yours. Someone whose life goals align with your timeline. Someone whose emotional maturity matches your own. Chemistry creates attraction. Compatibility creates lasting satisfaction. You can have mind-blowing chemistry with someone who makes your life miserable, but you cannot build a successful partnership with someone whose entire approach to life conflicts with yours. Business partnerships succeed because both people know exactly what they're signing up for. Relationships fail because people assume love will magically fix incompatibility. That is magical thinking, and it destroys lives. Now, here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. I'm going to suggest you create a real list of non-negotiables. Not preferences, not a cute wish list, non-negotiables. The deal breakers you will not compromise on no matter how attracted you are to someone. People hate this because it feels cold. But what's actually cold is wasting years of someone's life when you knew from the beginning your goals didn't match. Your non-negotiables might include wanting children or not, where you were willing or not willing to live, financial habits and goals, religious or spiritual beliefs, communication style during conflict. These are not shallow. These are the foundations of a life. Here's the business principle almost nobody uses in relationships. You evaluate performance over time before making major commitments. In business, you don't make someone a partner on the first day. You watch how they work, how they handle pressure, how they behave when things go wrong. But in relationships, people move in, get engaged, or make major commitments based on how someone behaves during the honeymoon phase, when everyone is performing. That is like promoting someone to CEO based on their job interview. People can fake a persona for weeks, sometimes months, but their real behavior shows up under pressure and over time. That's why smart business people have probation periods, and smart daters have evaluation phases. Here's what that looks like. You watch how they treat service workers, family members, and people who can't benefit them. You observe how they handle stress, disappointment, and conflict. You see how they manage money, time, and responsibilities. You track whether their actions match their words consistently. And most importantly, you study their reaction when you set boundaries. Someone's reaction to your boundaries tells you everything about their character and your compatibility. This part hurts, but it's the truth. People fall in love with potential. They fall in love with who someone could become instead of who they are right now. This creates relationships built on hope instead of evidence. Here's the brutal truth. You cannot love someone into having different values. You cannot be patient enough to give someone emotional maturity. You cannot communicate someone into wanting the same life you want. People only change when they want to change. Your job is not to remodel anyone. Your job is to choose someone who is already aligned with the life you want. In business, you communicate expectations clearly from day one. You don't hint, you don't hope someone magically understands your needs. But in dating, people hide their expectations because they're afraid the truth will scare someone away. So they suffer in silence, accept behavior they hate, and then feel resentful when their unspoken needs aren't met. That's not kindness. That's self-sabotage. If stating your needs scares someone away, you just saved yourself from wasting years without an answer. Here's what clear expectations sound like. I want children within the next 5 years. I need shared household responsibilities. I require financial transparency. I need regular quality time and affection. I cannot be with someone who yells during conflict. These are not outrageous demands. They're adult requirements. Anyone who cannot meet them should remove themselves from consideration. Business people know there are multiple qualified candidates for any position. They interview, they compare, they choose the best fit. But in dating, many operate from scarcity. They think, if I lose this person, I'll never find someone else. That fear makes them stay in relationships that clearly don't work. It makes them overlook red flags. It makes them compromise on things that matter. Business thinking destroys desperation. It reminds you that there are thousands of people who could be compatible with you. Your job is to find one of them, not to convince an incompatible person to change their entire identity for you. Here's the most important business principle of all. Cut your losses quickly when the data shows incompatibility. In business, you don't keep pouring money into a failing venture. You evaluate the evidence and make strategic decisions. But in relationships, people cling to what isn't working because of how much time they've already invested. That's the sunk cost fallacy ruining your life. Smart people know the time you already spent is gone, no matter what. The only question that matters is, does staying serve your future? When you date like a business person, everything changes. You spend the first few months gathering information, not forming emotional dependency. You observe patterns rather than focusing on excuses. You evaluate based on evidence, not hope. You address incompatibilities early, you set timelines for resolution, and if someone cannot meet your core requirements, you walk away respectfully and continue looking. This is not cold. This is responsible. You're not trying to force anyone into a role they cannot fill. You're acknowledging the truth and freeing both of you to find what actually fits. Everyone wants something different in relationships. Everyone has different values, goals, and communication styles. There's nothing wrong with having requirements. What's wrong is pretending you don't have any and hoping love will fix incompatibilities it cannot fix. Business partnerships succeed because both people know the agreement and both people benefit. Relationships should work the same way. And if this sounds too strategic or unromantic, ask yourself, how well is the emotional approach working for you? How much time have you wasted in relationships that didn't serve your future? How much energy have you spent trying to change people who weren't compatible with you? Maybe it's time to stop dating like a movie character and start choosing like someone who respects their future. Subscribe for more strategic approaches to life, and tell me in the comments, what are your non-negotiables? Your clarity might help someone finally get honest about their own. Remember, you're not looking for someone perfect, you're looking for someone perfectly compatible with the life you want to build. And that requires the same strategic thinking that builds great businesses.